Welcome to this deep dive, everyone. This one's especially for you, our readers, over at beartread.com. Now, you already know the score. With barefoot shoes, zero drop, wide toe boxes, all that good stuff.
Exactly. So we're skipping the 101 today.
We are. We're zoning right in on a specific shoe that's been getting a lot of attention.
Yeah.
The Xero Shoes Kelso.
Yeah, this is really meant to go along with the full review we just put up on the site. Xero Shoes Kelso review. Is this the new pickleball king?
Right. So we've gathered what the sources say about it, what it is, how it actually performs, especially for court stuff, and why the look is pretty unique in the barefoot world.
Mm-hmm. We're going to unpack the key bits from what we found. No fluff.
Perfect. And honestly, the first thing, the thing that grabs you straight away with the Kelso, it's the look, isn't it?
It absolutely is, yeah. That's where it makes its first big impression. You know, a lot of barefoot shoes lean towards outdoorsy or like purely athletic looks.
Yeah.
The Kelso comes in with this really stylish kind of retro court vibe. It uses full grain leather and suede for the upper. Feels pretty premium, actually. Gives it that classic sneaker look.
Yeah, that leather and suede, it feels like a deliberate choice,
Oh,
to bridge that style gap. I think the sources mentioned black, pink, and white as colors.
that's right. Those are the main ones available. And look, the style's great, but what people really seem to rave about immediately is just how comfortable they are.
Straight out of the box comfort.
Yeah, overwhelmingly so. People describe them like slippers or clouds. Lots of reports saying no break-in period needed at all, which for a leather and suede shoe is pretty impressive.
That is good. What makes them so comfy then? What are the details?
Well, it seems to be a combination of things. There's a smooth mesh lining inside, soft suede around the collar area,
Okay.
and decent padding around the ankle, and also the tongue. That tongue padding is key, stops the laces digging in, which can be really annoying.
Definitely. Okay, but it's leather. How's the breathability if you're thinking about playing pickleball or something in them?
Good question. Look, for a leather shoe, it's reportedly decent. There are these little patterned pinhole vents, plus that mesh lining helps a bit.
Uh-huh.
But let's be real, it's not going to be as breezy as, say, a full mesh running shoe. Probably going to feel warmer in really hot weather, or if you're going super intense. Some folks suggested the lighter colors might feel a tad cooler. Makes sense.
And what about keeping your foot secure with barefoot shoes being so flexible?
Yeah, they use a pretty standard lacing system, but it works together with these adjustable midfoot straps. You can see them on the side. And that combo seems to work well. Sources say you can really get a nice locked-in fit, which is obviously important for stability, especially if you are moving around a bit.
Okay, good. Let's get down to the base then. The sole, the feel underfoot. What are we working with?
So it's Xero's 6mm Feel True rubber sole. This is kind of their go-to for a lot of models. It's known for being really flexible, bends easily with your foot. And critically, for this shoe's intended use, it's got that herringbone tread pattern.
Herringbone. That's the classic court grip pattern. Right?
Exactly. It's all about traction. And users confirm it grips really well on different surfaces, definitely including indoor and outdoor courts.
And what about the ground feel? 6mm, is that thin enough? Thick enough?
Yeah, it's kind of a balance, isn't it? The 6mm thickness, it gives you decent protection from like sharp little rocks or debris. You won't feel everything.
Right.
But it's definitely thin enough to let you feel the ground pretty well, get that sensory input. Sources describe the ground feel as moderate. Maybe not as intense as some super thin shoes like, say, certain Vivos.
Okay.
And the sole itself might feel a little stiffer at first compared to maybe a Xero Prio or HFS. But still, you get enough feedback for balance and coordination, which is key.
Gotcha. Moving up, the toe box. Always a big one for our audience.
Yeah.
How's the Kelso shape up?
Oh, the toe box gets consistently high marks. It's described exactly as you'd hope. Wide, anatomically shaped. Lets your toes spread out naturally.
Really?
Actually, some users specifically said it felt like the widest feel of any Xero shoe they'd worn, which is saying something. Great if you like using toe spacers, too. Plenty of room.
Okay, that's really interesting feedback. What about sizing? Is it true to size? Run big, small?
The general consensus is true to size for length. Seems pretty consistent with standard sizing and other Xeros like the HFS or Prio, and they do offer half sizes, which is always helpful.
Good.
Now, there's a really specific sizing tip that came up in the sources, especially if you're prioritizing that maximum toe box width.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
So the women's version is apparently a bit slimmer in the toe box than the men's version.
Okay.
So one source actually recommended that both men and women who want the absolute widest fit should consider ordering the men's version.
Interesting. So how would women adjust the size then?
The advice was to size down 1.5 US sizes from your usual women's size. So if you're normally a women's 8.5, you'd try a men's 7.
Huh, good tip.
Of course, if you have naturally narrower feet, the women's model might be perfect. But it's an option for maximizing that space.
Definitely good to know. And it comes with an insole too, right?
Removable.
Yep. A 3mm foam insole, standard practice for Xero, adds a bit of versatility.
How so?
Well, with it in, it feels a little bit softer, maybe takes up a tiny bit of volume for a snugger fit. Take it out, you get more space, might feel like half a size bigger, and obviously more direct ground feel, more barefoot.
Right.
Just one small point someone mentioned. The fabric lining under the insole might not feel quite as nice against bare skin if you go sockless. Something to maybe keep in mind.
Okay, useful detail. All right, let's get to the juicy part, performance. Especially on court. Is this the pickleball king the review title asks about?
Okay, so the sources are pretty clear here. The Kelso is positioned as being suitable for light court activities. Think recreational play.
Like pickleball, tennis. Exactly. Pickleball, rec tennis, maybe some squash, volleyball. Also fine for general gym workouts, fitness classes, that sort of thing.
So that herringbone grip and the 6mm sole, that's enough for casual play.
Seems to be, yes. For those kinds of movements, the lateral, shuffling, quick starts and stops at a recreational level, the grip and the balance of ground feel and protection seem to hit a sweet spot. You get traction without feeling like you're on stilts.
And people are actually using them for this. Any specific examples?
Oh, yeah. One user mentioned they were great on the tennis court, even kicking a soccer ball around. Another uses them specifically as their gym and sports shoes. They even mentioned getting some, beneficial soreness afterwards.
Interesting. Like activating different muscles.
Potentially, yeah. Suggests the shoe is letting their foot work more naturally than maybe a more built-up shoe would. And then there was that one really standout report, someone claiming over 1,000 tennis matches in their Kelsos.
1,000, wow.
Yeah, claiming they actually outlasted traditional court shoes for that specific use, and the durability was, quote, insane.
Okay, that's impressive. But 1,000 matches also makes me think about the limits. There has to be a caveat, right?
Absolutely. And this is crucial. While it's good for a light recreational stuff, the sources universally say the Kelso is not built for high-intensity athletics. Meaning sports that involve really aggressive, sharp cuts, super explosive movements, or need significant lateral support. Think competitive level play.
Right, so serious players might need more.
Yeah, competitive players would likely want something more performance-focused, maybe like Xero's own Prio or other dedicated court shoes. It's about matching the shoe to the intensity level.
Makes sense. Okay, let's talk ownership. Durability comes up next. What's the story there? It sounds a bit mixed based on that 1,000 match comment versus needing more support.
It is a bit nuanced, yeah. On the one hand, the feel-true rubber sole itself is generally known to be very durable, wears slowly.
And Xero has that sole warranty, right?
They do. The 5,000-mile warranty. If you wear the tread down below 1 millimeter within that mileage, they give you a 60% discount on a replacement pair. So the sole itself, pretty tough.
Okay.
And many users do report getting good longevity out of the Kelsos, especially compared to maybe some other casual barefoot sneakers from different brands. The sole is glued and side-stitched, which is good construction, and reports of the sole actually detaching seem pretty rare for this model.
But I sense a butt coming.
But yeah, you have to look at the whole picture from the sources. They are definitely conflicting reports. Despite the sole warranty and general toughness, some users ran into durability issues with other parts of the shoe much sooner than they expected.
Like what kind of issues?
Things like stitching coming undone, sometimes where the upper meets the sole, or the upper material itself separating, or even the lace loops breaking after just a few months.
Okay. So the sole might last 5,000 miles, but other bits might not always keep up.
That seems to be the experience for some users, yes. It's not everyone, but it's reported often enough to be aware of.
Were the laces specifically mentioned often?
A few times, yeah. The flat laces that come with them, some users found they frayed or snapped after a couple of months. Not a huge deal. Laces are easy to replace. Maybe keep a spare pair around 120 centimeters. Handy, but still, a bit annoying if it happens quickly.
Right. And the insole, did that hold up?
While being foam, that 3 millimeter insole will compress over time with use. That's just the nature of foam. It'll lose some of its cushion. But again, because it's removable, you can easily replace it if you want that fresh feel back.
Okay. What about customer service? If someone does have an issue like broken lace loop or stitching coming undone?
Again, a bit of a mixed bag reported in the sources.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be clear, this is just relaying user reports.
Understood.
Some people had really positive experiences, friendly, helpful service, warranty claims handled smoothly, replacements sent out for clear defects. Others, though, reported some frustrations. Things like slow response times from customer service, finding the return process a bit difficult, sometimes getting hit with unexpected costs like return shipping or customs fees for international orders.
Ah, okay.
Some expressed disappointment that the warranty often meant a discounted replacement rather than a completely free one, even for what seemed like a manufacturing flaw.
Huh.
So it varies. We're just presenting the range of experiences found in the source material.
Got it. So taking all that user feedback,
Yeah.
the good and the less good, what's the overall vibe? Are people generally happy with the Kelso?
Yeah, overall, the sentiment seems quite positive. If you looked at average ratings across different places, it's hovering around like 4.5 out of 5 stars.
That's pretty high.
It is. The things people consistently praise are that instant comfort, the really wide toe box, the style big factor there, and just the versatility for daily wear and light activity.
And the main complaints?
Mostly centered around the hassle if you need to exchange for a different size, some finding them a bit stiff initially compared to really floppy minimalist shoes, and those occasional issues with lace durability we mentioned.
Okay, so say you get a pair, you love the fit. How do you look after that leather and suede upper?
Yeah, it does need a bit more care than, say, a mesh shoe. Regular cleaning is important, and using a leather conditioner periodically will help keep the leather supple and prevent it from drying out or cracking. Suede needs specific brushes or cleaners.
Makes sense.
But the upside is, if you do take care of it, good quality leather and suede can actually look better as they age, develop a nice character.
Any big no-nos for cleaning?
Oh, yeah. Definitely don't machine wash or dry them. That's a killer for leather.
Oh.
Avoid harsh chemical cleaners, bleach, stuff like that. Keep them away from direct heat radiators, intense sun for drying. And try not to just leave them damp and dirty in a bag.
Standard shoe care stuff, mostly.
Pretty much. Oh, but there was one interesting pro tip mentioned in the sources for shoes like this, using cedar shoe trees.
Shoe trees.
Really?
In barefoot shoes.
Yeah. Specifically cedar ones, the idea is they absorb moisture really well after you wear them, which helps combat odor, especially if you go sockless or your feet sweat.
Okay.
And they also help the shoe keep its shape while it dries out. Supposedly helps maintain the structure and might even extend the lifespan a bit. Simple thing, but could be effective.
Interesting. And what about those white insoles getting grubby?
Yeah, they will show dirt easily. But again, removable, so you can take them out, give them a clean separately, or just replace them if they get too bad. Easy fix.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. Bringing it all together, what's the final takeaway for you, our listener at BearTread.com?
I think the Xero Shoes Kelso really comes across in the sources as a genuinely strong contender if you're specifically looking for that intersection. The point where stylish, everyday looks meet functional barefoot features for light activity, including court sports like pickleball.
Yeah, it seems to really nail the aesthetic part, which, let's be honest, is something barefoot shoes sometimes struggle with. Plus, that fantastic out-of-the-box comfort and the core features. Everyone here values wide, toe box, zero drop, decent flexibility and ground feel.
Definitely. But, it's important to weigh that against the potential downsides reported by some.
Yeah.
Those durability questions about the uppers or laces for some users, the mixed customer service feedback,
Right.
and being really clear-eyed about its limitations. It's not the shoe for intense competitive court battles that need maximum support and really aggressive traction.
So it comes down to matching its strengths to your needs.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you value the style, the comfort, that wide fit, and its suitability for your specific activities?
Exactly. Could a shoe like this that looks good enough for casual wear but can also handle a friendly pickleball game or a gym session actually simplify things for you? Maybe replace 2 pairs with one. It offers a unique combination that's definitely worth thinking about.
Absolutely. And of course, for all the pictures, detailed comparisons, the full analysis, head over to BearTread.com and check out the complete review that goes with this deep dive.
And maybe just one final thought to leave you with as you consider the Kelso, or really any shoe. How do you personally weigh those different factors? The pure foot health features, the performance for specific activities, and the aesthetics. Finding that perfect balance across all three, well, that can be the real challenge, can it?